football at 4, and that's where we jump into it with one of our favorite cliches, right? Everybody works hard when someone's watching. What you are is what you do when nobody's watching. The Panthers wrapped up. They ramped up and then wrapped up. Mandatory minicamp, right? Those mandatory offseason practices where the whole team is there, and if you're not there, you get fined. Mandatory minicamp wrapped up. And now they enter one of the longest complete breaks of the year. 5 weeks at home. 5 weeks. Your boss doesn't get to watch you. Coaches don't get to watch you. It's 5 weeks away. Now, everyone works when the coaches are watching, right? Everyone works when their position coach is right up in their grill. Right? Everyone works when coach says, everyone at the facility by 6 a.m., we're going to have practice at this time, meetings at this time. You're going to do all that. Who adds something to their toolbox when everyone else is on vacation? You hear about this a lot in the NBA, right? You hear about, somebody adding a post game, somebody adding a face-up game, someone extending their shot distance, right? Their range. You hear about this a lot in the NBA, where even the best players of all time, right? Jordan late in his career, Kobe late in his career, Kevin Durant late in his career, LeBron late in their career will take, the 6 weeks that they have in the offseason and add something else. They'll go work with Hakeem Olajuwon for post play. Come back and suddenly they're comfortable with their back to the basket. And it's like, where did this come from? Jason Kidd was that way. The notorious workers kept working every offseason. Let me guess that they didn't add all of that to their repertoire when they were in organized team activities. They added all of that to their repertoire when they were by themselves, when they were fanatical about it. Who adds something to their toolbox when everyone is on vacation? We keep talking about the Panthers needing to make up ground on everyone else. They need to find value in the margins. If the Panthers just get better at the same rate that everyone else gets better, they're going to be the worst team in the NFL this year. They have to get better at a more increased rate than everyone else in the NFL. They have to make up ground. Every time everyone else takes a day off, the Panthers should be making up just a percent of a percent. They don't have the luxury of days off yet. All right, if Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes want to go play in fantasy for dynasty golf events, sure. If the Panthers want to do that, your day better start with a workout and some film prior to heading to the golf event. There are no days off. The other thing we're going to get to see, or actually they're going to get to see, meaning the Panthers team, is how well does Bryce Young really know Dave Canales' offense? Right? Because that's what we've been hearing. Oh, he picks it up quick. Oh, he's a savant. Oh, he's a genius. Oh, he's got the offense down already. The most impressive thing is that he's already picked it up, right? He looks at it, makes a mistake once, and he doesn't make it again. How well does he really know Dave Canales' offense? Because guess what's going to happen? It happens every year. It happens with every team. During this break, the quarterback is going to pick a location. Sometimes it's where he went to college. Sometimes it's where he grew up. Sometimes it's a place that he just likes to be. And he invites all the wide receivers. He invites all the tight ends and the pass-catching backs and maybe even the center, and he gets everybody together, and they do a little pass camp. Some legendary pass camps you may remember. There was Jets West when Mark Sanchez used to take all the Jets out to California. There was, right here in the Triangle, Eli and Peyton used to take their 3 best wide receivers, go visit David Cutcliffe at Duke, and they would do the whole thing. And there was one year where it was like ridiculously stacked, right? It was like Cruz was there. I forget who the 2 other Giants receivers were, but they were really good. And then it was the Denver, probably Decker, Demaryius Thomas, and Welker. Like they had just a bananas good group. Like those events take place. So Bryce Young is going to do that. I think Andy Dalton even did it last year. But Bryce Young is going to do that. Maybe he takes him to California. Maybe he takes him to Alabama. He's going to call up Xavier Legette. He's going to call up Deontay Johnson. He's going to call up Jatavian Sanders. He's going to call up Adam Thielen. And he's going to say, hey, I'm booking the flights. I just got $30-something million a couple of years ago. I'm paying for the rooms, the hotels. I'm picking up the first dinner. We're going to have a good time. We're going to work hard. And we're going to get on the same page. And they're going to be running Dave Canales' offense, right? When they're out there running routes, it's going to be as if they're in Dave Canales' playbook. All right, 3rd and 6, we call this play, run that outside slant. And Bryce Young's going to have to be the one correcting them. Actually, when we run this play on 3rd and 6, I want you to tilt it up a little bit to make sure you get first down yardage on the catch. He's going to have to be that leader, which everyone keeps talking about is great, and he's going to have to be that computer that completely has already analyzed and knows the offense like the back of his hand. So you're going to have to do both of those things. There can't be any, hey, when we run this route, do you want us to do it like this or like that? Hold on, let me check with coach. There can't be any of that.
It's kind of like what we were talking about last week, or you mentioned last week. This is an area where you can see Bryce Young's leadership grow this season, as far as getting his offensive guys together and going over the playbook or going over film or just getting practice reps when nobody's watching.
It's the bare minimum, right? There are certain things that are seen as above and beyond that really aren't above and beyond, right? It's kind of like when something is voluntary. Like, you know what? If you're trying to make the team, it's not voluntary. It's mandatory for you. These things, when every single team's quarterback or quarterbacks are throwing one of these events, it's like, yeah, it could be great leadership. It's also just what's expected now, right? I remember when I was playing in college, my freshman year, the starter at the time, quarterback, was getting together with the offensive line to watch film. He was saying, like, hey, when are you guys watching film? I want to be there. And it was seen as like this big, dramatic leadership thing, right? He wants to be down there with the big guys. By the time I left, just about every offensive line meeting room included all of the quarterbacks. It like no longer was above and beyond. It just was, well, when they're doing it, we're doing it. It wasn't impressive anymore. When the first guy started doing it, it was impressive. It was like, ooh, no one thought to do that. And he was a transfer from Penn State. So we were all like, that must be how they do it at Penn State. That must be how they do it in the Power Five. By the time he left, it was like the offensive line had a group chat with all the quarterbacks, and it was just, hey, we're going to watch film at 6. All 3 quarterbacks would show up at 6, and we'd all watch, and we'd all joke, and it was no longer new. That's what these passing events have become. Right at the early onset of them, when the Mannings were bringing people to Duke, it did feel kind of like, wow, the Mannings are so dedicated. Wow, they're such great leaders. That's why they are who they are. Now, like, I guarantee you, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield, like Daniel Jones, like fringe starters that didn't have a firm grasp on their job like 18 months ago, are now getting everyone together. If you want to be a great leader in the offseason, you got to make a pilgrimage to each guy's hometown and work with them there. You got to be at like all their hometown youth camps. Like if you want to be a great leader, you got to go above and beyond. This is the bare minimum for Bryce Young's leadership. The thing that I'm interested in is how well does he know the playbook when Coach Canales is not around? Because, again, I'll use my college experience, which is not the same. But my freshman year, wide receiver asks me, I used to keep my bindered playbook with me out there for like 7-on-7. It would be right where the center would be. So if somebody says, like, hey, how deep is that route? If I wasn't 100% serious, I'd be licking my thumb, flipping through pages. Coach wants it at 14 yards. By my senior year, I'd be like, Coach wants it at 14, but if you break it at 12, that's fine. I'm going to be there early anyway. Like, that's where I want Bryce Young to be. And I'm not saying, like, I was this whatever. Bryce Young is much more of a football mind than I ever was. But I'm just saying the way you talk about it is the way that everyone else is going to pick up on the confidence. So I guess that is a little bit of leadership. Going above and beyond is knowing the playbook frontwards and backwards before you get there, not just having the event.